So I went up there, and one of my other supervisors in the department had gone up there to teach, Roy Gazzelli. And so I went up there to hire people, and I looked at Chico, and I looked at the pine trees, and he took me up there, Roy did, and I had a glass of water, Skyway and Elliot, and I got to smell that fresh air, and I thought, shit, why am I in prison? I've been a kid, I was there. I did 7 years there. You got a job for me? He said, we're full, but next year we're going to have an opening. Would you be interested? I said, yeah. So in the meantime, Eleanor was trying to get me to buy a house in Southern California. Reminds me of sort of you guys, because I was in that crisis. I've been working. I was unemployed. I didn't want to work for the prison. They were calling me, come to work, come to work, come to work in the prison, in halfway houses, anything to get me to come back.
Right.
I was scrubbing the side of my house, 110 outside the Riverside, and then, why am I doing this? I could hire somebody to do it. I could be in an air-conditioned office, right? But I wasn't going. I wanted to go north. I didn't want my kids raised in smog. I didn't want them raised where they couldn't go outside and play.
Right.
And so, anyway, we finally moved. And I went to Chico. And then I consulted with programs for kids. And I found another guy that I didn't like how he was running his program. And I thought the only way I can have a good program is if I run it myself. Then I own it and I put my name on it.
Where would those girls have been if they hadn't been in your group home?
Somewhere else.
In another group home?
Maybe.
Or foster
Or
care?
foster care. They all came, most of them came out of foster care.
So did they completely just live in the home?
Yeah.
For how long?
So they left.
When did they
Some
usually?
left the next day.
Oh,
They just run away.
really?
Yeah, I couldn't tie their foot to the floor. So I had to try to make it connections emotionally and relationship-wise and healthy-wise and feel them safe and understanding and stuff. And I tried to do that. But sometimes you didn't do that. Some kids stayed for a long time, like 2 years, 2.5 years. Some overstayed because there was nowhere else to go, and they were close to being mature enough that they just, So that's how I started the group home. But the way I started, I just wanted to do it, and I was consulting with this place. The place was out in Berry Creek, was out in the woods. They had some horses, and they had boys and girls, and the manager was a school teacher or something, and a salesman. And he literally gave me the program. I was the consultant. I required, because they really had to have a social worker, at least part-time. And so he hired me. And then finally he said, because I was at the university, I'd find these young kids like you, and they would get excited about it. So they'd come out there. Then they'd be working out there 2 days a week, and then they're working, and then they're calling me about, I got this problem here, Wall, blah, blah, blah. And so the guy would just say, well, you just run it, Waller. So I have these students, and one of them is now a chief probation officer from Monterey County. Another one became an Alaska school teacher, calls me, comes and sees me. And he's the guy that gave me his car and everything for 3 weeks or a month when I was up in Alaska by myself. And so this guy had this program. And one day he said to me, I remember the sequence, why don't you buy it? I told him, he wanted out, him and his wife. Why don't you buy it? I had Eleanor and I had kids that I had my teaching at the Chico State. But my heart was over here with these kids and the program and my staff. That was my juice. And he said, why don't you buy it? I thought it was bullshit. It never occurred to me somebody wanted to sell it to me. I mean, I didn't have any business sense. I just had this other sense, right? About how to teach now and how to do groups and how to work with screwed up people, right? And their families and all that stuff. But I didn't know how to run a business. So he said, I want to sell it. I think this guy's bullshitting me. He's conning me. Right? So then I started my own, and I saw him, Eleanor and I kids didn't come. I remember the kids came. And we went down to see him. He was down in Newport Beach selling boats, yachts, him and his wife, and we stayed with him. And he said, "Why did you buy my business?" And I looked at him and I said, "Because I didn't think you were serious. He had sold it to somebody else."
Mm.
He said, "Well, I would have been thrilled to have Bobby." Other people, and I started my group homes. And I started with girls because I was scared. Why would I be scared? I was afraid I might fail. And if I failed with girls, I knew I could always work with boys.
Because girls are harder.
Girls were harder. But because I worked with boys, and I knew boys, I knew I could work with them. But when I went to try to get some money to open my first group home, I didn't have a lot of money. And I asked my doctor, and he sort of laughed at me. I asked my dentist, Harvey Perry, and he just smiled and shined like stupid. And then I went and did a needs assessment of the counties and talked to a lot of counties on my days when I wasn't teaching. And then, because I worked in consulting with these other programs, so they knew me, and they said they would send kids to me. So I went ahead, and then I went to stop and see my mother. I visited Jackson and Amador County. I stayed overnight with my mother. And Amos said, "Are you serious about having a group home?" I said, "Yeah."
How long did it run for?
And he said, listen, Amos, my grandfather, my step-grandfather, said, Grace and Lowell would not give me a penny to open a group home. And I think they had more money than I ever saw in my life. I don't know how much they got. But Amos said to me, "Are you serious?" I said, "Yes, I'm very serious." He said, "I'll lend you the money." And he's going to bed. He said, "I'm going to bed." And he left. And I looked at my mother. I said, "Mother, does he really have that money?" He says, "Yeah, he's got $10,000 in the bank." He wants to lend to me? He says, "Yeah." Well, that's what he said. That's what she said. He said that, he did. He said his kids know he has $10,000 and they've been trying to get it out of him. And he won't give it to him. She said, "I don't know why he wants to give it to you." But he gave me that $10,000. And I knew I couldn't fail. Because I had to do something for my mother.
And that was to buy the first group home.
Crestview?
Yeah.
Cool. Did you pay him back?
I paid him 10% interest.
Whoa.
But back then, that wasn't.
That was standard.
High interest in those days.
And then I said, "I need some more money." And then they lent me more. And then I still pay him 10% interest. Learning my money. Said, "How come, when are you going to start paying us our money back?" I said, "Mom, I need to keep my, I didn't. I wanted to have the 10%.
Oh, so it was a good investment for him.
Yeah, that's what that.
How long did the group homes run for?
They're still running?
Huh? How many are there?
I don't know.
Did somebody buy them from
I
you
gave him,
to?
I gave him more. I didn't occur to me I could sell them. Even though I had these 4 homes and this big business and $500,000 and 15 staff, it never occurred to me I could sell them.
So which houses still have girls in them? Any
I
in
don't know.
Paradise or?
No, I don't know. I know some of my staff that I trained are still there.
Would it be cool to go back to one of the homes and see?
The ones that I own, they're not in anymore. They moved because then he bought his own houses and he makes the money from the people living in them.
How do people in those homes pay? Because normally foster kids don't have.
The state pays.
Oh, okay, it's all,
or the county pays.
it's so much, okay, I
Yeah,
gotcha.
that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
And then I had a friend that I worked for in Elsinore that I didn't trust very much. He opened a big program in Utah, and even got on TV with it. And I went up to see him when I was getting ready to open mine,
Uh-huh.
and saw his, and he had a lock facility. Oh no, I didn't. Not when I opened mine. I had 24 kids. I had 12 boys and 12 girls, and I had staff in each one of my homes. We were talking about opening a lock facility,
What is that?
a privately owned lock facility for kids. And that's when Eleanor started to decide that she didn't want to be with me.
Well, that would be like a prison, like a jail,
Yeah,
right? When you say locked facility.
yeah, lock facility.
Isn't that kind of bad though?
Well, he's thinking maybe it would have been more helpful to the kids than the prison he was in.
Mm.
It would have been more private, more personable,
So
And this-
instead of going to jail, they go to here.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, and I went to see this guy
like a
in,
residential prison.
because
a
he had
residential
moved from Elsinore to Utah, and he had one, and he had a lock facility, and he said, Wally, you don't even know it's locked.
Mhm.
You could go through it and you wouldn't know it's locked if I didn't point it out to you, how secure it is. Embedded in such a subtle way.
Yeah, but the kids can't get out, so.
No,
It's not subtle to the kids.
no.
Yeah.
So anyway, I went to see him, and he showed me this place, and he had some of the same staff that he had down in Elsinore that I worked with that I didn't like too much. They were yes men to him.
Uh-huh.
You know, they couldn't be honest. I mean, I was honest. I thought I was honest with him.
Mhm.
Anyway, and he would send me out to go get kids that filled the beds, and he'd go with me. We'd go to San Francisco or Northern Napa or somewhere.